Chapter 45. Tick, tick, tick. My opponent picks up white pawn, then a black, and puts them behind his back. This isn't right. This isn't right. I look up at the viewing areas, see loads of parents, but not mine. Just my granddad staring at me with Jake beside him eating a packet of crisps. Rich has told him my moves help me. I try to transmit this thought across the hall, but Grandad stares ahead and Jake keeps munching. I can't believe Rich has told this boy I use the silicon defence. If I thought I had a tiny chance, even that's gone now because my opponent knows all the opening moves I'm going to make. I could switch to another. I should switch to another, but which one? My heart beats fast as the walls creep in. Don't panic, keep calm. I close my eyes, check the rules in my head. Don't eat before playing. I haven't. Don't make eye contact with your opponent. I lean forward and hold my head in my hands. You need to choose, says my opponent. Left, I say, without looking up. Then you're white. Okay, I say under my breath. Okay. I hear the sound of chess pieces being placed on the board. I glance up and stare at the clock, just like the one in Pawn Sacrifice. I need to make a move. Then start the clock. I clench my fist. Head as clear as the sky, heart as calm as the sea. I know, Grandad, but my heart is pounding. Then imagine what? A wooden box. What? The clock ticks on to 50 seconds, 51 seconds, 52, 53, 54, 55. Imagine your opponent is 57, 58, 59. Help me, Grandad. Imagine your opponent is the mechanical Turk. I pick up a pawn and move it to e4. There, that's my first move. Don't forget the clock. What? Don't forget the clock. I hit the clock. Pretend he's a faceless man in a box, a wooden box with no heart but with clunky arms. I know. The wooden box moves a pawn to c5. Stops the clock. I move my knight to f3. Stop the clock. The wooden box moves its knight to c6. Stops the clock. I move a pawn to d4. Stop the clock. The wooden box takes my pawn to d4. Stops the clock. My knight takes a pawn to d4. The box moves a pawn to g6. I've seen these moves before. Grandad warned me about them one evening. It's the accelerated dragon variation of the silicon defence. I need to think fast. I need to think clearly. What did Grandad tell me to do? What? Got it. I move a pawn to c4. I wait for the wooden box to make its move, but no hand appears. No chess piece moves. It's like it is thinking extra hard. I've just played the Marcosi bind, and it's like the box doesn't know how to respond to it. I wait until eventually it moves its knight to f6. Stops the clock. It's cat versus mouse, me against wooden box. It tries to trap my king while I try to trap its king too. More moves, another 10 each, and all the time I'm thinking 3 moves ahead until knight to c3, pawn to d6, pawn to f3. Knight takes rook on d4, queen takes knight on d4. Check, I say, checkmate. That's impossible, my opponent mutters. Impossible. I feel a smile creep across my face. I thought it was impossible too. I imagine a wooden box with wooden arms sticking out of it, whirring round like its circuits have been crossed. I stand up and hold out my hand. I've won. I've beaten the computer. Yes, Felix, yes! Jake's jumping all around me like an excited Labrador. Rebecca is smiling. Chris is smiling. Tom is smiling. Leah is smiling. Yes, yes. Jake is pumping his fist and jumping up and down in front of me. Okay, Jake, says Mr. Keats. This is a chess game, not a football match. But well done, Felix, he adds, patting me on the back. Great effort. This does feel like a football match. I feel like I've run the length of the pitch and smashed the ball in the back of the net. Jake wraps his arms around my neck. Knew you would do it, he says, never in doubt. I pull myself away from him. I feel as happy as he is. So happy I don't want the day to end. But right now, the only person I want to celebrate with is Grandad. I look up to the viewing area and search for him, but all I see are exit signs and empty seats. He must be on his way down. Rich stands in front of me, holding his hand out begrudgingly. Well done, he says. I shake his hand without thinking. I've just won my 3rd game in a row and I feel so good that I'm laughing inside. Now all I want to see is Grandad and give him a hug, but I can't spot him anywhere because the hall is buzzing with pupils and teachers. I ask Rebecca how she did. She tells me she had 1 win, 1 loss and 1 draw, and she's quite happy. I tell her I'm happy for her. Then a blonde girl wearing a blue school uniform walks towards us. Well done, she says to me. Oh, thanks, I say. She looks at me quizzical. She gives me a quizzical look. You played me in the 2nd game? Did I? Yes, she says. You captured my bishop and my knight on moves 12 and 14. I'm sorry, I say. I can remember doing that, but I don't remember me. No, I say, sorry. It's okay, she smiles. You look like you were in a trance. He was, Rebecca laughs, then asks the girl, how did your team do? I'm not sure, she replies. I think we had 8 wins, 7 losses and 3 draws, so we won't win. The teachers are working it out now. She nods towards a table in the centre where a group of teachers are gathered with clipboards and pens. I blow out my cheeks. I want to know if we've won, but I want to see Grandad too. I search through the crowd, but I still can't see him. He's taken so long to get down that he must have gone to the toilet. Jake pats me on the back, tells me well done for the 20th time. Behind us, I hear Rich and Chris working out how many points we have. Chris says he and Rebecca both got 2.5. Leah got 1 and Tom didn't get any. Then Rich says he got 3.5 and he, meaning me, got 4. He works out that we've gotten 13.5 points, that we might not win, but we've got a chance. The group of teachers nod at each other, then part. Here's the result, says Rebecca, tugging my arm. One of the teachers picks up a bell and rings it. I look around the hall. All the groups of pupils have gone quiet and are standing with their teachers. My group does the same, except we stand with Rich because for some reason Mr. Keats isn't here. Okay, says the teacher who rang the bell. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming and making this a wonderful tournament. I take a deep breath and look at Jake and Rebecca. I've won all my games, but it would be brilliant if we won the tournament. In 3rd place, says the teacher, with 12 points is, drum roll. All the groups stay quiet, like they're too nervous to wrap their hands on the tables or stamp their feet. Come on, drum roll everybody, says the teacher. The hall rumbles with people tapping the tables and stamping their feet. Fairfield High. A group of boys and girls in grey blazers turn and smile, patting each other on the shoulders. Some look happy they came 3rd, some look disappointed they didn't win. We got 13.5, Rich whispers. We beat that. We're either 1st or 2nd. And so, the runners up, says the teacher. This was a very close thing. Very close indeed, Rebecca nudges me. Chris and Leah look at each other. Rich has got his fist clenched. Jake's so wide-eyed he looks like he's going to explode. I glance behind me for Grandad. If I've won, I want him here, but the only person I see is Mr. Keats standing by the door with a serious look on his face like he's just found out we've been disqualified. And the runners-up are... Mr. Keats beckons me. Does he mean just me or the whole team? He beckons me again. A big roar echoes around the room, but I didn't hear who it was, because as I walk across the basketball court, it's as though I'm moving in slow motion through a wall of noise. Mr. Keats steps aside and lets me through the door. "What is it, sir?" I ask. "Did I do something wrong?" "No," Mr. Keats shakes his head. "You've done nothing wrong. It's your granddad." "What? What's the matter?" I look down the corridor in panic. "Where is he?" "Outside," says Mr. Keats. "He's been looked after in the ambulance, Felix." Mr. Keats makes a barrier with his arm. "Felix, please don't panic. The right people are looking after him now." "But you don't understand. I need to see him." "Felix." I push Mr. Keats's arm away and run outside.